Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here. It is wonderful to see you all here. It's wonderful to see you commenting down below and subscribing to this channel, a very young baby channel that only just got started in June. Welcome to the biggest DC show on YouTube. We've got so much to discuss. We've got Momoa saying fuck yeah to the Snyder Cut. We've got Amy Adams confirming she will never play Lois Lane again. Yes, we heard last night also that Warner Brothers are developing a Plastic Man movie, which really excites me because I love Plastic Man. I used to watch him in the Batman animated series called Batman the Brave and the Bold, which is my favourite Batman animated series. Such fun that was. So he's brilliant in that. Look, and of course we've got this Elseworlds Arrowverse crossover happening. In terms of the crossover and Elseworlds, listen, I don't watch Arrowverse anymore. I'm bored. I'm really looking forward to watching Titans in January when it hits Netflix internationally. I did review the pilot on here, but I decided to watch it properly when the rest of the episodes hit in the new year. But in terms of, I'm excited about that. I love Gotham, looking forward to the final season. I love Lucifer as well. I'll be reviewing those episodes when the new season hits on Netflix. But I'm bored of Arrowverse and the tactics in the marketing for this. I'm sick of seeing the advertisements and the plugs from the actors, from the network. It's so boring. It's so lame for me. And what's really upset me is that they've thrown in the Smallville Kent Farm to get a few Smallville fans watching as well. Sorry, you haven't sucked me in. I'm not interested. Smallville actors are not going to make any cameo here. We're not going to see Rosenbaum as Lex. We're not going to see Tom Welling speeding past quickly in a cameo, as far as I know. If I'm wrong, I'll apologise. So, absolutely not excited for Elseworlds. If you are, I'm happy for you. But I think that Arrowverse is a fraudulent franchise, a boring franchise that offers very little in character development and superhero excitement. That's just my opinion. So, I have to give credit to the interviewer who actually asked Momoa blatantly about the Snyder Cut. And I was surprised by Momoa's reaction and response and answer. He said, it's a shame that we're in an industry where we can't be honest, but fuck yeah. You know, Momoa has always been very loyal to Zack Snyder, as the rest of the actors have. Will we ever get a Snyder Cut? I did a video last week saying, I've been told we will see the Snyder Cut on DC Universe when it goes internationally. Is that true? Isn't that true? Who knows? I think at this moment in time, DC and Warner Brothers are focused on sorting out their DC movie franchise. And I think that takes us nicely onto our next subject. This is a massive one, absolutely massive. In an interview, Amy Adams said that she's done playing Lois Lane. They're restructuring that, but I don't know the details, she said. Wow. And I think if Amy Adams is coming out and saying she will no longer be involved from no choice of her own, you can basically confirm what I said to you the other day, that if she's gone, Cavill's gone. They've all gone. Which, what also, this basically means by her saying they're restructuring things, right? This means that the Hollywood Reporter were wrong. They're not resting Superman. They're just redeveloping him. Now, I'm going to get a lot of hate by some people. I'm happy that she's come out and said it. At least we know. At least we know they've got another plan and they're going to do something new. I think probably it's for the best. They couldn't carry on because what had been done wasn't hitting for the mainstream. Because people want to see a different type of Superman. Maybe people want to see a different type of Lois Lane. Now, I love Amy Adams. I think she's a wonderful actor, really talented. And I also enjoyed her Lois Lane. But you can't bring back one without bringing the other. Look, they want to restructure it. They think that just doesn't work. And they're going to go another direction. And we should wait to see what they do before we get, too carried away, negative or positive about it. But I think this is a good thing. I think DC, the DCEU, the worlds of DC, does need to go a different direction. It does need to restructure, and it's doing that. With what's going on with Aquaman, you could say that Walter Hamada is onto something special here. To to think what happened with Justice League and to think that already the China opening for Aquaman is massive. I mean, the China opening for Justice League wasn't bad either, by the way. It was pretty healthy. It wasn't record-breaking or anything. But considering the opening it had in the US, the China opening was extremely more positive for Justice League. But China, I've always loved the DC movies anyway. They've always done quite well over there. Unlike some Disney films. It's staggering to think some Disney films don't do well there at all. I mean, look at The Last Jedi. They had to remove that after a week. Maybe, I think, even under a week. So, yes, staggering how some films do really well over there and some films don't. So I think the worlds of DC, these movies now, they're heading to a positive direction. I'm shocked that Adams has come out and said that so openly. But I do feel that it's important that we know as an audience what's going on. Are they sticking with Henry? Are they sticking with Amy? It's obvious by those comments they're not sticking with either. So now we can kind of discuss who do you want to play Superman next. Did do a video. My pick would be Chris Evans. I think he would be perfect as Superman. I could even see him playing an awesome Clark Kent. He really is a great actor. But of course, we don't know what his future on the MCU is. Maybe Walter Hamada is looking to pick someone fresh, someone unknown. That would probably be the best bet anyway. So we've got no preconceived ideas about the actor. I think it's very important. Everyone's obsessed with big names these days. Oh, get this one, get that one. And I think with superheroes, it's best to get unknowns. I mean, saying that, obviously, Robert Downey Jr. was a massive hit with playing Iron Man and Tony Stark. But I think Stark's a different type of character, and you can kind of get away with it in a way. Robert Downey Jr. plays that character with so much humour and personality. It was needed, and without that character, without Robert Downey Jr.'s performance as that character, there probably wouldn't be an MCU right now as we speak. So it's going to be very, very interesting what their plans for Superman are. I mean, we heard from Jeff Johns months ago. He did say that Superman is very important to Warner Brothers. So there's no chance of this character being rested. It was always obvious to me that they were going to restructure this character. I mean, I called it ages ago. I mean, I was saying they were going to replace Cavill before the rumours that they were going to replace Affleck. They are going to replace Affleck as Batman. Everything's going to change now. And a lot of Snyder fans are going to be upset. My advice to you, because I love Snyder's DCEU films, by the way, just watch what he's done. Just go back and watch what he's done. Enjoy it. And then enjoy this. I mean, many Snyder fans who have already seen Aquaman said it's a really good film. So I think even though Zack won't be involved anymore, we can enjoy the fact that he brought Momoa on. We can enjoy the fact that he brought a director like James Wan to direct Aquaman. That's brilliant. Maybe Aquaman would have been a different movie if Zack stayed involved with the DCEU. Maybe Suicide Squad would have been a different movie if Zack wasn't as involved. We don't know. So I just think it's amazing. It's amazing that Amy Adams has come out and said this. But yes, I am excited for the future because it's always exciting to wonder when something has an opportunity to renew itself, how that will go. So yes, that was a bolt out of the blue. So another shocking piece of news last night was that Warner Brothers are developing a Plastic Man movie, and it's going to be, the first script is going to be written by a woman. I forgot her name. I don't know her credits and her IMDb, but it looks interesting anyway. Plastic Man could be a great family film done properly. Some people think he's a tricky character to get right. I don't think that at all. He's brilliant because not only is he fun and funny, but there's a serious element to this character because he was a criminal, a small-time criminal, but he was a criminal. So to see any character reform from being a criminal into a hero is a very special story. So you can have that kind of comedy and fun, but you can have the feels as well. You can have the emotional element of no one really ever believing in this guy. So if done properly, this could be really, really exciting. Have I ever sat there going, they should really do a Plastic Man movie? Of course not. But as I've said to you before, they're cementing the franchise around it. So, they're going to have Batman, they're going to have Superman, they're going to do that. Don't worry about that. It's going to happen. But they're cementing the foundations of this franchise, and that's so important with the kind of characters like Blue Beetle, now Plastic Man as well. It's pretty exciting. For me, it's exciting, even though it doesn't make me go, yeah, this is amazing. I can see what they're trying to do. I do think in the end we will have about 5 Worlds of DC movies out a year, but we're going to have to wait and see about that. So yes, that is really, really exciting that they're doing a Plastic Man movie, and I'll be very interested in seeing who they cast, what kind of direction they go in. Yes, but they're definitely looking at the fun superhero element. And again, a lot of Snyder fans won't like that because they're used to this deep, dark kind of blustering verse. But I think you can still have that with other films and have like the more lighter characters. I think it's got to be a universe with a mixture, hasn't it? With a balance. It can't all be dark and it all can't be funny. It's got to be different types of films, and I think this is what we're seeing now. The films they're kind of announcing now are the more fun side of DC Comics, but that's fine because we haven't seen that yet. So they're restructuring this thing, and I think it's amazing how Hamada has come in really and just brought this positivity with him. I mean, he's come in, and I will repeat this, that the last film we saw, before I saw Aquaman, of course, was the Justice League movie. This would have destroyed other franchises, but this bloke has come in, brought in this positivity, and it truly is amazing what can happen now, because this is the possibilities are limitless for this franchise if done properly, and Hamada is certainly up to the task as far as I'm concerned. So I just want to go back to Momoa a little bit, because it looks like people are speaking their minds a lot more now. The possibilities of the Snyder Cut, we have to talk about this a bit more. I think because people are speaking a bit freer now is interesting, because before they wouldn't even be asked about the Snyder Cut, which means if they're starting asking people about the Snyder Cut, Warner Brothers are being a bit more lenient, which means Warner Brothers could be like foreign to the possibility of getting Zack to edit his ultimate version of the Snyder Cut. And, we want Junkie XL to score it, of course. No one else will do. It has to be Junkie. How do you do it when they're trying to restructure this universe as well? Well, it's a balancing act. You have to put it somewhere where it doesn't affect the other films. So probably not in the cinema. Look, I don't care. I'd just be happy to get the ultimate Snyder Cut on 4K Blu-ray. Do you know what I mean? I don't need it to be in the cinema. For me, that's up to the studio and what they think they can make. I don't think there's really financial kind of credence in like going for all the promos and everything and doing a full theatrical release. I personally think the best thing to do is give people the opportunity to buy it on home video, whether it's DVD, whether it's Blu-ray, whether it's 4K. That's where the money is, as far as I'm concerned. Maybe they'll have it on streaming first. I don't know. Streaming's easy money because you don't have to sell anything as a studio. You charge the streaming service what you want for them to take it and for them to show it. You make the money. Money's in the pocket. Then you share, I suppose, an element of the subscription or however it works. But there's a lot more easy money to be made from doing a deal through a subscriber. But I would imagine the best option is their own, which is DC Universe. Then I think, listen, if you put the Snyder Cut on DC Universe, you're going to get so many more subscribers because of the intrigue factor. And I think once they get on there and they see the other stuff DC Universe do, which is fantastic, especially the comic section, that is just brilliant. I mean, I've got friends in America who keep on sending me videos because I can't have it. You literally can't. You can't even fake a VPN anymore. It's so difficult. So, I mean, in the old days, you could just fake a VPN. I could have had it by now. So it's frustrating. But what I'm seeing is awesome. And I can't wait to... Listen, I'd rather have DC Universe than the Disney Plus streaming service. from what I see from the Disney one, there's nothing really for me from the kind of fandom that I come from that I want to see. I've got all the Disney movies. I can buy anything on Blu-ray. They're not really offering me anything extra. I don't need to watch Star Wars TV series or MCU TV series, but I'm a DC fan. So DC Universe really excites me, especially the way they've structured the kind of streaming service. And I think the Snyder Cut would be perfect on there. I think one way or the other, we've got to look, it could take years. The reality is this will take years. But who knows in this industry, in life? I may stop this video and here they're putting it out there. Next year could be the year for us people who are desperate to see the Snyder Cut. So I suppose it's mixed news. Positive if you're a Snyder fan that Jason Momoa said fuck yeah for the Snyder Cut. It's also positive that earlier this week he said the Snyder Cut is canon for Aquaman. But sad news that we're losing Amy Adams as Lois Lane, because she's great. She was a great Lois Lane. She was a different Lois Lane. I'd say she's an adult Lois Lane. But I think they realise that Lois Lane, they can get a lot of young girls watching through Lois Lane as well. It really worked on Smallville when they had a really brilliant Lois Lane that appealed to all ages, by the way. And I feel it's the same thing here. They're going to go for a younger actress, someone who can appeal to young girls a bit more. And I think, you as a business, you want to maximise your profits. You want to maximise the mainstream consumer coming in. And the reality is, as much as we love the DCEU films and the Snyder films, they didn't maximise their financial potential. And it doesn't matter how diehard we are, we've got to understand that. Yes, it's a business. It's a business. If you make films the mainstream want to see, you make more films. And once you've done that, you can make more of the films that you want to make. We're very lucky that we started off with BVS and MOS. No franchise would be brave enough to do something like that. And so for me, we're fortunate we ever had those films. And we can still enjoy those films. And so I think DC fans, we should be in a positive state of mind right now, because I think there's some exciting things going on. I think that it's really difficult in life when you have to say goodbye to something, when something doesn't work for everyone. Warner Brothers had to do this. Listen, as hard as it is and as exciting as it would have been to keep Zack to do this 5-picture arc, it really would have been amazing. But I have to think about the whole fandom. I do. And this is not from a YouTuber's perspective. I think I have to think of the whole fandom, for the fandom, for DC to, because we don't want Marvel and the MCU being so successful while we lag behind and we have this negativity. Because the problem with having a director like Zack is he totally wants to do things his way. But what you've got to remember is that Warner Brothers are the company writing the checks, paying the money. And they want to maximise their financial potential. And if you've got a guy triggering the mainstream audience, that can't work. And he's not willing to compromise with the studio, which he's not. You need creatives who want to work with the studio rather than saying, no, I'm doing this, I don't care what you think. You can't be in that relationship. I work with a network here in Cyprus, and it can be really, really frustrating because they come in and they talk about the bottom line, but that's their job. It's not because they're evil or they hate you or they want to crush your creative kind of mind and your imagination. You've got to come together. Sometimes I will make a compromise. Sometimes they make a compromise. And they're the great relationships. And I think that's with studios. You've got to come in with a positive mindset and saying, yes, I have my vision, but I've got to understand in life, you've got to understand everybody's point of view. And when you don't understand each other's point of views, you don't even have to understand them. You have to respect the fact that other people and other entities are coming from a different direction. So even though I love Zack Snyder, and I think he's one of the greatest directors of our time, I understand that it was time to make a change. And they really, to be fair to them, to hear that Amy Adams won't be playing Lois anymore is absolutely massive. But it's also great to hear Momoa being so positive about the Snyder Cut and talking about it openly. Obviously, he admitted this is an industry you can't talk openly in, but he's obviously still got those NDAs or whatever you call them, so he can't say too much. but he's certainly making a lot more noises because he knows there's going to be a sequel. That's something else. That's something else, DC fans. You don't have to doubt how successful this film's going to be now, because you know when a company's happy, when they already green light the sequel. And I can tell you, yep, it came out as a rumour the other day, but it is true. Aquaman 2 has already been greenlit, and it will be directed by James Wan, but we do know that James Wan is a very busy man with so many fingers in so many pies, a bit like J.J. Abrams, and so it may take a few years to do this film, but hey, we've got Aquaman for now. It's not even come out in the cinemas properly yet, so yes, yeah, I'm really excited about that. For my point of view, personally, I think we're heading to a really important situation. What are my hopes and dreams for the worlds of DC, the future of these films? I want Superman. Superman is my character. I want a Superman cast. I want the right people writing and directing it. And I really want us to have... I want Superman to be optimistic and bright and someone we can all look up to. But also, I want him to be challenged. I want him to be fleshed out. I want him to have depth. So I think if we have a balance, it's going to be beautiful. I'm also looking forward to hear who's going to be playing Batman in the Batman. I think that will be really, really important and really interesting to see what happens with that film. I personally don't think that Ben Affleck is involved, apart from being a producer, because he's contracted to be a producer. You can't delete those type of things. But as far as anything else, I think, yes. Listen, the DCEU is dead and the worlds of DC has arrived. I think that's the way you've got to look at it. I think we can all kind of wish it wasn't that way, but that's the way it is. So they're getting rid of elements they think weren't working. And unfortunately, that's Amy Adams, that's Henry Cavill, that's Lawrence Fishburne, that's Ben Affleck. And obviously the elements that did work, like Gal Gadot, are not going anywhere, and why would they? Gal and Patty did a tremendous job with the first Wonder Woman film. I just think that they need to maximise this franchise's potential, not just because basically, if you make good films that everybody wants to come in for, everybody's a winner. Because what happens then? You're able to make a film like, for example, Infinity War. If Infinity War wouldn't have been possible if they didn't go kind of the light mainstream route. So when you get to Infinity War, you can be dark and you can be bold and you can make the film you want to make. But what Warner Brothers did, and Christopher Nolan and Zack Snyder did, they made the films they wanted to make from the beginning, which kind of hurt the franchise, but I'm happy they made them. But what Feige did was, let's establish ourselves, then let's make your Civil Wars and your Captain America, the Winter Soldiers. Let's establish ourselves, then take gambles. But with DC, they thought, fuck it, we're just going to do what we want from the beginning, and if they don't like it, tough. Well, I'm afraid you can't do that. But we are more richer. Those of us who enjoyed them, those of us who enjoyed Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, have got them on 4K like I've got, and we can enjoy them anytime we like. And they kind of got away with it in the box office. They didn't break any records or anything. But, well, Batman v Superman did break a few opening records, by the way, as a Batman v Superman film should break records. But yeah, I don't see anything as a negative. I really am passionate about what's going on, and I'm really excited with the shows that are being greenlit on DC Universe as well. I think we're heading to a very, very exciting time for DC all round. I'm not, as I said on the top of the show, not interested in the CW. I think they're a bunch of con artists. I don't like them. I don't like what they do. They're more about politics than they are representing good superhero stories, which means if that's your priority, I'm not interested in you. Guys, girls, everyone, thank you for watching. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. Like the video, share the channel. What do you think about Momoa saying fuck yeah to the Snyder Cut? What do you think about Amy Adams confirming that she will never play Lois Lane again? That's not me. That's not my sources. That's her. She's gone. And as I said at the top of the show, she's gone. Cavill's gone. What do you think about that? What do you think about a Plastic Man film being developed? How do What do you think about these lower tier characters cementing the foundations for the worlds of DC? Please let me know.